Hi, it's David from Electric Teaching again, and I was able to resize my grid to be 400 by 400, and now medium looks just fine as well as all the rest, and it can rotate through the different sizes. And I also notice you can see the graphics over here are starting to overlap, and which makes them blurry, and I don't like that look. I want to clean that up. So I couldn't fix it at the 500 by 500, but I noticed at 600 by 600 it was working fine again. So I'm going to leave that up to you, and it's your own personal grapher, so make it that those factors are always working, and apparently it's not always just if it's a factor. So I'm going to close this. I'm actually going to say no and hopefully don't create an error that I can't get out of, and it didn't, but maybe starting again I might. Remember, with the new system, quit. In fact, on that note, everybody go to the bottom. I say everybody because I'm used to teaching classes, I'm sorry. Down at the bottom, I added a second system exit, and this is the reason why. We called up the same routine that we're already in from within it, and therefore we came back in it, and then it's going to want to the program gets confused because it works by order of events. It's already been into the graph equation once. So in a sense, when you come back out and say like Pygame quit, it wants to go back to the same graph equation point it was before when it was called up in here. I know that sounds a little confusing, but that was the reason we needed the system quit in the my main. So for that reason, we just want to quit the shell if we ever get to this point. So I added system exit right there, and so that we get out of the shell. Okay, now we're going to start plotting points. We're going to start plotting points. Oh, first I want to set a clip. Real quick, I want to set a clip when we do our graphics so that when we display our electric teaching and cue to start over, in the graph section, in the graph equation function, then I want to make sure that we don't overlap it in case people are resizing. So clip the screen to keep text clean. That's basically why I'm doing this. Set screen dot set underscore clip parentheses. I'm clipping from, let's see, the edge of the width, okay, comma 0 to the bottom right corner, but not including the equation. I'm going to keep the equation there untouched, so that we're going to go to the bottom. We'll go all the way across the screen, so that's width plus extra W, and then to the height, I double checked it, it is 30 pixels, so we're going to go minus 30. So we'll clip to that point so that we do not touch the y equals instruction or equation display at the bottom, but make sure when we're done displaying everything we want to display here that we reset the clip. We need to reset the clip, and I think that's very important that we reset it so that it's not a problem down the road. So I'm just going to put a little comment, reset clip of screen, and that's an easy command. Screen dot set underscore clip none. Should turn purple in parentheses, none. Now we're in the perfect spot. Actually, we need to start working on our plotting of the x and y coordinates that a user, I guess yourself, since it's your program, might want to use or plot and see. Boy, that didn't come out right. Let me try that again. What we need to do is we need to start building an array that'll let us set up an x value and then plot it, the y value, and actually put a circle right on the graph of any point we choose. So the way we're going to do that is, let me set up a quick instruction here, a quick comment, that we're going to do plotting of x values here. And the first thing we need to do is make an x value array. We're going to do it the exact same way we did the y equation. We're going to set up an empty array for x value. I'm going to make the V capital so I can see it better. X value, that's our variable, that is an array. We're going to have an x val be nothing but a question mark right now variable, and a y val the same. A y val the same. So that we end up having a starting point or a starting value to be able to plot. Let me space this out better. Okay, now, right after this, we need to display some information. We need to display some information. And technically, I'm going to want to move this clip screen down lower. So actually, I am going to move this down so it's right above running the active loop. We want to reset the screen after I display all information. And since I'm adding information right now, we want to reset that clip afterwards. There we go. Okay, so right here we're going to do a same exact style of clipping the screen and then re-displaying the information as people type in numbers to be evaluated. So we've done that before, so I hope that makes sense. But basically we're going to do another screen clip first. Want to give me a little instruction. So clip the screen to show X and Y values. And basically when it's a continuous thing, we got to clip it and screen fill it with white and then basically display the value over and over again. It ends up being faster than your eyes can see. You can see at so many frame rates, around 30 something frame rates per second. And since the computer works faster than that, all this happens at hundreds of frame rates per second. You'll never see that the moments that it's happening, and it'll look very stationary for the most part. All right, so we're setting up the screen clip. Sorry if I was talking too much there, but I really do like explaining what happens and why it works. That way you can go off and do more things with that understanding. We're going to do the width plus 10. We're always 10 pixels in. We're going to come, let's see, I think 130 may not do it. I had 130. The last thing we plot is basically the potential of hitting the Y key down here, 120 pixels down. So I want to go 150 pixels, maybe 140 pixels. Now to make it look nice, let's go 150 pixels, 150 pixels, and down, and we're going to clip that area to, we need a distance, and so we're going to do is about 30 pixels of clipping. And so we're going to go from the width all the way to the width plus the extra W, can't type there, extra W, comma, let's say 30 more pixels, so 180. And this will keep us in the top half as long as I'm only 400 pixels down. So that should keep us in the top half. We fill it. I'm going to work faster here. I'm running out of time. Okay, we fill it. I'm going to fill it white, have that variable set up. And then we're going to do a little display. So I'm going to create a new variable called xDisplay for display purposes. And what we need to do is we need to take the string join command, and we're going to join the x value array. It's empty right now, but imagine a bunch of numbers comma separated. It will join them. We need to get rid of the same thing before. We need to reassign it to the same variable and do this time equals, a string replace command where it takes the object that I'm replacing, the array, the information I'm replacing, which is the xDisplay variable, and I'm going to take the spaces and replace them with nothing. So I put in a quote with space and quotes with nothing, separated by comma, close parenthesis, hit return. Now displaying, we'll call this the plot x. Call this the plot x value. So we're going to go plot x equals font dot render parentheses. And we're going to put in the text here, x space equals, and then we're just going to add on the value. So plus the string of our variable that we set up above, xval. Wait, I feel like, yeah, xval. I want to put the xval up there. And then, oops, excuse me, I actually want to put the xDisplay up there. Got a little confused. Sorry about that. Thought that felt wrong. xDisplay up there. So that is taking that value, the x value right now. I'm going to be using the xval in a second here. I know what that's for now. So we're going to take the string of the X display, the text that I've just made from the X value array. We're going to then do comma. We're going to put a color here. Let's make this, I don't know, some sort of blue real quick. So I'm not going to use a variable. I'm just going to set up an RGB color. So I'm going to go 0, 0, 200 to be RGB blue, all blue, comma. See what else? So that is the render. We just have to tell it what and what color. Oh, we forgot the comma separated 1. I knew I was forgetting something. So here's our render command. That's our 1 comma, then the color. That looks good. Okay, now we need to blit that. We need to blit that. We're going to blit that. So I'm going to use a, I guess, screen.blit of that render plot x. And when we blit, it's always what and where. So the what is plot x, and the where is the width plus 10, always 10 pixels in. And let's see, where are we doing that? About 100 and, where am I clipping? 150. So 150 down. 150 down is the XY coordinate, close parentheses twice. So now that'll blit the X value as it's put in. That'll blit the X value as it's put in. So let's now, well, let's go ahead and put in more information here because I want to put in the Y coordinate as well. I want to put in the Y coordinate as well. So I want to be able to put in the instruction for getting the Y coordinate. So I'm going to say plot Y equal, in fact, actually, let's just copy it. It should be in blue as well. So let's copy this, paste it in, change it to Y. Now we're going to make the Y rendering, which will be basically a parentheses of coordinates is the way I want this to look. So even though it's more than just the Y coordinate, I am calling it plot Y. But what it is parentheses. Then I'm going to put plus, I'm going to get rid of some of the information here, string, parentheses. Let's see, got to close the quote, plus, and then string there. Got the color right. Always double check the color. X val. So this will be parentheses open, the X value. Then plus text, comma, quote, comma, quote, comma, quote, to have the text of the comma, plus the string of the Y val from up there. It's question marks, but we'll be putting values in a moment. And then I got to add the close parentheses, end quote. And I want this, now I can delete everything else. Okay, and then I want this, same idea, same color, one, cool, just to the right of the other one. So screen, blit. What am I blitting? Plot Y. Where, same idea. Width, now not plus 10. Let's go this way over to the right. So how about 210? So we'll go about half of the blank space plus a little. Width plus 210. Same height, 150. Close parentheses twice. All right, now we got to put in the values. We got to put in the values for this. Okay, the screen should clip. Oops, I just realized something really important. We actually do need to move this into the loop. I was talking about how it'll move through several hundred times per second, but I don't have it in the game loop right above the display. That's a mistake. So I'm going to cut it from here. Sorry about that. I didn't get that perfect. I hope I'm not upsetting anybody out there. Just go with the flow, as we say in the teaching world, and paste it all into this active loop. Tab it over so that it is lined up perfectly, one tab in, right with the display. So this will basically be refreshed and now, as I said, done so many times per second. Now we got to put in the commands for appending the X value so that this displays the actual value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to steal my own code of all the numbers. I'm going to copy all of the number commands that append in the equation, and I'm going to put them down here in the commands, tab that back over, for putting in, and not a pending equation, let's highlight that, but my x value, whoops, not e value, x value, there's a little typo. I'm going to copy the word x value, and now I'm going to paste it to every one of these. You should do the same. I'm going to pause while we do that. Okay, I've also not only changed all these to x value, I went and grabbed the universal code for the decimal point, which is the period, and I put that in and changed that for the x value. So you may want to pause the video now yourself and put that part in. We're ready to run it. Let's see how it looks. I'm going to run the module, save it, and let's see. I'm going to type in a simple equation, something like how about cosine x. And I do have my x value here ready to go. The screen seems to be okay. Let me hit resize a couple of times. Let me go through M, L, and S. And it seems that I still have that error of it overlapping. So my text isn't clean, but this is pretty clean, so that's good. Some things are working, some things aren't. I'm going to put in some numbers. How about 4.5? Yep, that looks good. Okay, the last thing we need to do is, in fact, we forgot to put the instruction that when we hit the enter key, it'll plot the circle. It'll plot the point. So I need to scoot this down just a hair and then have the instruction for hitting the enter key to plot the point. Close the program. I'm going to take a chance and say no, not altogether, and hopefully I can still code here. Yep. And let's put in a couple more commands here. First of all, I put in the x value and y value right here at the 150 mark. I'm going to scoot them down 20 pixels to be at the 170 mark. And then I'm going to squeeze in the instruction above that. I'm going to squeeze in the instruction above that to be hit the return key, and then we'll type in the instruction for the return key, and that'll be it. So let me borrow this instruction. How about this one right here? That's a good one. Copy it, and let's see, right next to where we're putting in the y values, let's paste in, fix these tabs real quick. Okay, and let's paste in the instructions to select the enter key. Most of them are labeled enter key, capital E. So just like we hit the enter key to graph it, but this time we're in a different subroutine. So it'll hit the enter key and do something different. In this case, plot the point. In fact, to plot the point. So we'll just do that. And I forgot to say type in some values. So let's say type in value, and then select enter to plot point. All right, so hopefully that fits on the screen. And now let's come down to the enter key. Oh, let's see, where do we want to put that? And not in that color. Let's be consistent. Let's see, the color was 0. This is a reason why you make color a variable up above, so you can just type it in. So think about that for many of the ways to personalize this a little bit more. I think everybody who's watching this can have the ability to do that by now. And now let's see, I wanted, oh, excuse me, I didn't want to change that to 200. I wanted to change that to, we said 150 right when we're clipping. 150 right when we're clipping. And I also got to make more room for the clipping. So when I come down here, I'm going to clip all the way to 200. And that should work. That'll make that work. And, oh, now I know why that clip didn't. Oh, no, that clip works, yep. Oh, I forgot to set the clip back to none right afterwards, just like before. So that's why we were having a little bit of a problem. Screen, set, clip, and why my other fix did not work. I'm sure that's why it was. I know I'm going very long in my videos. I apologize. I don't like 20 minutes of lecture or lessons. Forgive me. I hope this is valuable and you're learning a lot for whatever you're doing with your projects. Now the return key. Make this quick and painless. Copy this. Paste that one. Okay, space it. Now, a return key. It's called enter, But in programming world, from old days, it's like carriage return in our brain from the old carriage typewriters. So that's why they call it return. And what we want to do is we want to take the x. First of all, in case we can't plot it, always got to figure domain could be a problem. We don't want to cause error, so let's use try. Let's use try. So try, then we're going to make x, which is our plug and chug part, the value, and also the x val, the float, in case they don't put in, in case they do not put in a 0.0, a 0.0, we want to put the float command, we'll put in a 0.0 and it'll give us accuracy. And then we're going to make our x that. We're going to make the y val, probably can anticipate this, using the eval command. Love the eval command. It allowed me to do this whole entire program. And then display the circle at that point. And then we're pretty much done with plotting points. Circle, as long as I don't type wrong. Screen and color. Of course, let's stick with the blue. Really wishing I made that blue variable, but that's all right. And parentheses, where we want to plot it. Well, it's the x value started from the center. So the center's width divided by 2. We're going to put in the x value. I'm going to put in the x or the x val, either one. They're both the same. Times k, and then the height divided by 2. That's the center. It works backwards. You have to go minus. This time I have to use the y val. Y val times k. Times k. Parentheses per, then comma radius. That's what I forgot in another video. About a 4. No close parenthesis twice, just once. There we go. Exempt pass. Exempt pass. Technically, you should reset. Oh, actually, we need to. We should also reset. Ooh, I don't like how that tab's not right. So I found an error. Yeah, I thought something felt funny with these. Hang on, let me back these up. Yours is probably different. I hope you didn't try to match mine. Yours was correct. Mine was wrong. Let's reset the x value array just in case this does go through. We need to empty it again. So then exempt, because that goes with the try. Exempt, that didn't color correctly because I didn't spell it correctly. Okay, here we go. And then just do, boy, that's not tabbing correctly. That was weird. Pass. Boy, I hope this works because I'm way into this one. Run, hit OK. Syntax error. Probably forgot a parentheses. 1 second. Put in a close parentheses. Do you know how I knew forgot a close parentheses? Whenever it highlights the word. Whenever it highlights the word. So if you learn that one alone. And of course it crashed. Okay, I just opened it back up and it seems to be working. I plotted a point. I'm going to plot another point. How about 2.3? How about 2.3? See, this is why I wanted to reset the array. Ooh, and it worked. It plotted on 2.3. Doesn't look to be perfectly centered. You know what I forgot to put in? I forgot to put in a negative sign. I can't plot negative numbers. So we'll start with that and we'll do our regraphing on our next video. Forgive me if you made it this long. I commend you. Accolades and kudos to you for sticking through the long video. I'm David from Electric Teaching. I hope you're enjoying this.